Hi, I'm Becky, and we're going to go for a walk today. We're going to take a kettlebell, only one today, and we're going to do the farmer's carry one-handed because we're going to work on our core strength. Because our body must tense up its core. With a 10-pound kettlebell, without tensing my core, I would go like this. But my core is going to hold me straight up, improve my muscles and my core strength. Plus, whichever shoulder and hand that the kettlebell is held in, it gets the same regular workout as a farmer's carry. But this also makes my core work harder. All farmer's carry works your core a little bit. One-handed farmer's carry turns that core up. So today, we're going to do one-handed. I need some good core strength. We all need good core strength. Some people like the nice flat abs and they want to wear the short shirts or whatever and show off those abs. That's great if you want to do it. Turn up the weight on the farmer's carry. That'll help great with that. Me, I just want to have strong core muscles so I can do the things I want to do and function in life. And a lot of times, when you're running into the grocery store just to grab a few things, you only got one bag. You want to be able to carry that bag and put it in the car without any problems. Farmer's carry helps with functional mobility. Just helps us do the things that we want to do in life easier and better. All right, we're going to switch hands. This one was getting a little bit tired, and I could feel in my core that side was getting a little tired. Time to switch it up. And I just switch while I walk. And actually, I think carrying with one versus two, the farmer's carry on one side makes me a little more winded. Because my core has to adjust. You figure out your goals, what you want out of your body, and you work on the exercises that give you that result. It's individual for everybody. I want to be functionally strong, flexible, and powerful so I can have fun. I've always liked to play ball, pretty much any kind of ball, except soccer. I never could figure that game out. My youngest son and my husband played semi-pro, but that was before we got married. I've seen him play just for fun, but never like serious play. And while our youngest was playing, my husband was down there in the coaching box, and so he never explained it to me. I just cheered when our side scored. A few of the moms tried to explain it to me, but I never really understood it. When I was a kid growing up, we didn't play soccer at my school. I grew up in the north, I guess Southern California where my husband grew up. They always played there. It's great exercise. You do a lot of running, a lot of quick turns, a lot of pivoting. Great exercise. But I've never actually played it. But I love some softball and some basketball and some volleyball and even Even badminton and croquet can be fun. Okay, I'm going to set my kettlebell down right here. Whew. We went all the way to the end of my driveway, carrying the kettlebells. Proves we're getting stronger. Always celebrate your victories. We'll have a moment of just relaxed walking before we try to add in extra hardness. I've been busy this morning, so I'm a little bit tired, but I want to give it all I can. It's okay to push when you're just a little tired. Don't push till you're truly fatigued, because that's when injuries happen. But a little tired, poke yourself with a sharp stick and say, let's move it, move it, move it. That reminds me of a movie I went to with my grandkids. The two oldest were the only ones born then, and it was a animated animal thing. And every child in the audience, when the song would sing and they'd go, move it, move it, move it, they all jumped up and started dancing around. It was one of the best movie experiences I've ever had. Everybody was laughing and the kids were clapping. It's a lot of fun. Music can be a great workout. If you hear music and it makes your feet want to move, just move to your heart's content. If you're a great dancer and know all the steps, wonderful. If you're not, the music just moves you to sway with the beat. That's great too. Music soothes your soul, or most of it. Some of it kind of gets on my nerves, but I enjoy most of it. I like jazz and old rock and a lot of country. I don't like whiny country though. That tear in your beer stuff, I'm not too fond of. I think music should leave you feeling better, not worse. If it makes me want to cry at the end of the song, I'm not too apt to want to watch it. All right, we've had a little rest bell. Now we need to sprint a little. Whew. This line on the shadow is my goal. Whew. And I made it. Oh. Set a goal and work to accomplish it. The easiest way to fail is to not to try. When you say the words I can't, it's over. You say the words how can I, and you look at all the possibilities of how you can accomplish a task, you can do anything. Oh. All right, I'm going to walk backwards for a second. Got to give my knees a boost and my balance a boost. I'm trying to take a little bit wider step. Makes it harder. Adds. Seems like when I take a wider step, I feel it more in the gluteus minimus. That's kind of a hard word for me to say. Right there. One of the things where I had lost my mobility. Most of my mobility was lost when I broke that shoulder. For 6 weeks after I had seen the doctor, they said, it's lined up perfectly. If it will heal in that position, we don't have to do surgery. So for 6 weeks, you wear this sling, you sit in that chair, you don't move. Okay, I did that. Went back to the doctor. They say, oh, it didn't heal. Okay. Now we have to schedule your surgery. So for about another 2 weeks, I'm sitting in the chair with the spring because I still got a broken shoulder. 8 weeks in, I go have surgery. I have my surgery. Again, they say, wear your swing and sit in your chair. Wasn't even allowed to lay down to sleep. I had to sit in a chair, upright, so that my shoulders were in proper position. Okay, so I went a total of about 14 weeks not moving. Not just not moving my shoulder, sitting in a chair, not doing nothing for 14 weeks. You talk about making you weak. I was supposed to get help to get a shower, go to the bathroom, and forget making my own food. My husband had to provide food, and bless his heart, he don't cook. So we eat a lot of Burger King, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, or wherever. He does construction work. He's a plumber. So wherever he would drive past on the way home, that's what we ate that day. So when he'd go to work in the morning, he would leave me like granola bars, maybe some jerky, maybe if I was lucky, but granola bars, waters, and things sitting on a table next to my chair. And he would open the bottles of water because I couldn't open my own water. And he'd just leave me sitting there and go to work. When I'd come home, he'd come home with some kind of dinner. And I ate it. So I ate real crappy, but I'm thankful for what food he provided me. Because if not, I'd have been real hungry that time. But I ate real crappy and I sat in a chair for 14 weeks before the doctor said, okay, we can set you up for physical therapy and you can start moving it. And then I could start walking and moving and regaining my mobility. That's been about, 2-3 years ago. And I have done my best to, I went through the physical therapy, then continuing the rehab. I still haven't gained the muscle and the strength that I had lost. I still have, I'm at a much weaker state and a much less flexible state. Because sitting there makes your joints freeze up and lock up. Not just your shoulder that's injured, but all of your joints. And I'm fighting my way back right now. And since the injury, I have done like a couple of months of doing really good and walking and being as active as I could. But then I would go, it's a holiday, I'm going to eat crap. And when I eat crap, I have a tendency to get lazy. When I eat crap, my body gets inflamed. My body gets painful. When my body gets painful, I just want to sit in a chair because it hurts to move. I think it's a vicious cycle. And it's really hard to break that cycle for me. Now, I know there's people out there that can take a day off or eat what they want to this one meal, and next meal they're right on board. That doesn't work too good for me. For me, I fall off the wagon, then I stop the exercise, then I sit in a chair for a while. And to be honest, I don't have time for that right now. I moved all of our stuff down here. I've got about half of it unpacked, maybe half. I moved our stuff, 3 months ago. We built a barn, the garage, to put the stuff in. We finished it about 4 months ago. I moved the stuff about 3 months ago, and I have been trying my best to unpack as much stuff as possible. Well, I've noticed that my energy level was low. The boxes are heavy. Like, they're really not that heavy. I should be able to do this. I should be able to lift that box. Yesterday, my husband needed a Phillips screwdriver. And I have one of my daddy's toolboxes that has still got all of his stuff in it. And we couldn't find a screwdriver anywhere like he needed. So I thought I'd look in Daddy's. Well, I moved it. Oh, there's a car. I need to get out of the road. Oh, he's going the other way, so it doesn't matter. But we are going to turn around here. So I decided there's another car. Traffic jam in the middle of nowhere. Nice friendly people, though. But anyway, so I moved that toolbox so that we could dig around in it looking for the screwdriver. And we did find the screwdriver. But by sitting it, just moving it aside where we could get to it, it tweaked my back just a tiny bit. But I was like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have been able to pick that up. It's an old metal Craftsman toolbox, and it is pretty good size, and it probably does weigh 40 pounds, maybe, ish. Well, then I went to set it back where it was at. I couldn't pick it back up out of the floor without really hurting myself. I could tell. I could force it, but if I forced it, that little tiny little tweakish part would have been painful. Like, I'd be for 3 or 4 days feeling, maybe longer. You never know with your back. Sometimes with your back, what you think is a little bitty strain or whatever, then you're like, takes a long time to get over. So I just left it in the floor. And then this morning my son came and he just picked it up like it was nothing and set it back where it belonged. I should have been able to do that, and at one time I would have, and I will be able to again. But that just told me, yeah, I've had a lot of muscle wasting while I was recovering, and I need to build the muscles again and build my fitness. We're all starting from a different place. You have to start where you start, and you have to go at your own pace. Even for me, my 20-year-old self, my 30-year-old self, my 40-year-old self, my 50-year-old self, and my 60-something-year-old self, it's all different. I was an individually different from what I am now at every one of those phases. The bullheadedness or the stubbornness in my head when I was wrestling with that toolbox said, I heard this voice very clearly, but I had sense enough to tell it, no way. It said to me, you've done that before. You should be able to do that. That should be no problem. Just grab it and set it up here. Quit being such a wuss. That voice happened in my head. I heard it very plainly. But I also had sense enough to say, shut up. It ain't that way now. I'm not doing that. Stop it. You hear a lot of voices in your head. Some push you too hard. Some tell you just can't do it to start with. Don't listen to those voices in your head. Listen to your common sense. All right, we're going to try to sprint a little. Like I said, I'm a little tired, but let's do it anyway. All right? Whew. And even day to day, like some days, something is super easy. I got this. The next day, maybe not so much. Maybe that day I'm tired or I've worked harder, or I'm a little sore from the day before. Every day is different, and every day you have to listen to your body and respect what it tells you. That's the only voice you need to listen to. That voice will keep you from getting hurt. The ego up there that I had talking to me yesterday, that voice would have hurt me. But my body said, ooh, this is really heavy for you. That's the voice I listen to. And I'm not hurt today. Oh. Not hurting ourselves is real important. Alright, now I'm going to sidestep. And I'm going to try to remember every time I sidestep, I start with my left foot. That way I remember to do the right foot next. But sometimes I get confused what I've done and what I've started with. I have also been trying, when I go up a regular step, not a big flight of steps, because they still get me. But there's, like, from my living room to my kitchen is 2 steps. I'm trying to remember not to use the hand railing. I mean, I would if I really needed to. But if I can make it without the hand railing, which I have depended on ever since we bought that house. We didn't build it. It's an old house. We plan on doing a lot of changes to it. But I have depended on that handrail to get me up into the kitchen. And I'm trying to remind myself not to do that. Because even though it's a little bit difficult, or actually sometimes it's quite difficult, unless I put the effort to do it, I will never be able to do it. And I want to be able to climb, when I hike, I want to be able to climb like down on the beach. A lot of the restaurants are up like 2 flights of stairs, and you go out on a back patio so you can see the ocean. The kids love to go there. They really love a couple of them. And I want to go with them. They invite me. They say, meet me at such and such place. When I get there, it's really kind of embarrassing and definitely difficult to climb up them stairs. And by the time I get to the top of them stairs, I'm whooped. Last time they were down here, we went to one of those restaurants. And we got to the top of the stairs and we went over to the hostess to ask for a table. And she said it'd be a 90-minute wait. Well, we all looked at each other and we're like, we're hungry. Let's go somewhere else. So I had climbed them stairs for nothing. Had to climb back down those stairs to get to the parking lot. And then we went to another restaurant that had a whole new flight of stairs. Let's just say that next day I just sat in my chair all day because I was sore. My muscles hurt. Cried and complained and my knees complained. And I want to be able to trot right up them stairs with my grandkids. I don't want it to be difficult. And if I don't do things like this, and don't do practice stair climbing, it ain't going to get any easier. It's just going to keep getting more difficult. The old saying, use it or lose it, your muscles are the stereotypical thing that saying was made about. If you don't use your muscles, they will deteriorate. It takes weeks to build muscle. It takes days to lose it. Even like if you have the flu, say, or the C word, and you're in bed for a couple of days. You know that first couple of days when you get out of bed, you still feel so weak and stuff? That's because you've lost muscle mass. And until you start back in your routine, you don't gain it back. And if you just give to that and don't push it to recover it, you have come down the peg of fitness just a notch. And unless you fight to get back up that pole of fitness, next time when you get sick, you're still going to be at that lower level and drop a little lower. So it's really important to fight to gain strength, muscle, and mobility. We're getting pretty close back to our driveway. Still a little winded though. You want to make yourself a little winded when you work out, when you're doing cardio, because every time you do an exhale, that exhale is full of carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide. Anyway, whatever you breathe out. I think monoxide is in a car, dioxide is in a body. But every time you breathe out, you exhale that. You expel that. You also expel toxins like mold or bleach, chlorine, anything that can become airborne. Your body spews it out when you exhale. There's my old friend the kettlebell again. Time to farmer's carry. Whew. A couple of deep breaths to reoxygenate my muscles. Shoulders back, chin up. Let's carry our farmer's carry. I get bored doing the same thing all the time. So I try to change it up best I can, just to keep myself from being bored. And it keeps my body guessing. It never knows what I'm going to do next. So it feels like it has to be ready. We never top out that way. If you do the same thing, same weight, same reps, same everything every day or every week, your body says, "Oh, this is as much effort as I have to put into this, and I'm good." Well, I got news for my body. We want to keep excelling, so we change it up. Plus, it makes it more interesting. Now, if I lived next to a very good hiking trail, like it has rolling hills and ups and downs, switching my hand, I might not get bored with that. I might be perfectly happy to do that every day. Walking in my neighborhood, I've seen all these houses before. I've seen this street before. So if I do the same exact thing all the time, I do tend to get a little bored. That's okay though. I'll just change it up a little. Remember, by carrying only one kettlebell, we're causing our core to tighten up and strengthen up. I hear a lot of workout people say, squeeze your core. Mine automatically squeezes when I do this. If it didn't squeeze, I'd fall over to the side. But because it squeezes me and holds me tight, it holds me upright. That improves my balance, my core strength, whichever shoulder the carry is on. It is a fabulous, fabulous exercise. If you don't have weights, use whatever you got. Use a Walmart bag full of canned goods, or you might want to layer it thick. They're getting pretty flimsy. But a tote bag of some sort full of canned goods, full of sand, full of gravel, a bottle full of water. Add water to make it heavier as you go. I started out with a 5-pound kettlebell. I'm at a 10 now. First few times I did the 10, I was like, whoa, this is heavy. I wanted to go back to the 5, but I was like, nope, tough it up. I'll gain muscle from this. And now I can do it, and I feel it, and it is giving me a good workout, but I don't feel like it's impossible. When I go up on weights, I have to go down on distance. And when I go down on distance, that makes that heavier weight doable. And then I just gradually keep building the distance back up. Oh, we're almost back to the garage. It's been a wonderful walk today. The sun is out. A little breezy. I could have wore shorts. I wore long pants, but I could have wore shorts and been fine. But we're back to the garage now. So we're going to put our kettlebell away. We're going to go get us a bottle of water, sit and rest for a few minutes, and then get on with our day. I hope you walk or bicycle or whatever your cardio of choice is. I hope you move every day. Do a little more. Make it a little harder every day. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Bye.